45 years ago, I went into the church in St. John's, Fisher and Thomas More in Bench Hill in England to do what we're going to do today, to perform a baptism. And I had to go back into the rectory and ask Father Taggart, where's the font? And he said, it's in the safe. Oh. So I took the key of the safe, the little fruit bowl. I'm glad that you are going to be baptized into something rather grander than that. But it was still as efficacious. And so, what a lovely way to celebrate my 45th anniversary. Doing what I've been doing for a long time. Thinking about the babies I baptized, the marriages that I've witnessed, the confessions I've heard, the anointings that I've given, and many, many other pastoral engagements. And one of the great joys is baptizing, wondering, what will this baby grow up to be? Hopefully, through parents who are here all the time, and with your new addition, looking around, observing all that's going on into this wonderful world. So you are introducing her to the God who created her. You are encouraging her to become a member of your family, obviously, and your family's parents are present, but also the wider family, the family of the church. And that is a beautiful gospel about seed being sown. And I must confess, living in Bench Hill in Wythenshawe for 5 years was a real opportunity to see something that was very different from the rural life I lived in Shropshire, with wonderful trees and fields and hedgerows, very industrial, not much grass, lots of social problems. But even in that place that had many struggles, which had people facing many struggles, people succeeded. One of them was a young man, he was probably 15 or 16, he said, can I play the organ? I said, well, can you? And he said, actually I can. I'm having lessons. And he said, I'd like to practice. So he'd come every so often, I'd give him the key. I said, just make sure you lock up after yourself. Can't remember his name, can't remember what he looks like. But I had a letter once asking for a referral about a young man who had trained in music and was applying for a job at one of our prestigious cathedrals in England. And I thought, oh, isn't that wonderful? That he started off in Bench Hill. It wasn't a wonderful organ. The church needed lots doing to it. But in that place, he grew into become the person he was meant to be. And so as a priest, witnessing my own transformation, and hopefully my transformation continues up until I take my last breath and not get stuck in some way, in some habit, in some means, but trying to be open to what it is that God is asking of us. And the God in whose death your daughter is to be baptized is an amazingly generous God. Let me read you a quote from Barbara Taylor Bradford, a wonderful religious writer, an Episcopal priest. She says, regarding the gospel Deacon Larry read, the focus of that gospel is not on our shortfalls, but on the generosity of our Maker, the prolific sower who does not obsess about the condition of the fields, who is not stingy with seed, but casts it out everywhere, on good soil and bad, who is not cautious or judgmental or even practical, but who seems to be willing to keep reaching out into his seed bag for all eternity, covering the whole creation with fertile seed of his truth. A beautiful way of describing that story, the generosity of God. And there's no greater, perhaps, generosity than giving birth to new life and all that that entails. And it entails an awful lot. But I'm sure the rewards are great. And you have a family to support you, and the family of the church. So as part of this family, for the last 17 years, I can say I never expected it to turn out like this. I never thought that I'd end up in Houston, Texas. I'd heard of Dallas, of course, through the television program. But there is something beautiful about the life we've been given. That God wants us to listen to his word and to digest his word and to reread so many of these beautiful stories, that our heart gets opened wider and wider to what it is that God is asking of us. And so I'm delighted to be in this place as pastor for all these 17 years. I'm glad for the opportunities we've experienced and shared for growth in our parish. And it wasn't like that on that first Sunday, Larry. In fact, there weren't many of these around. Or those. They were a lot like me. And so this is the family of God. It keeps on growing. And that's the wonder of it. That's the beauty of it. You have Lila, who's to be baptized. We have people who are much older. That's the family. So I hope that we as the family of God in this place will open our hearts wider and wider, trusting that whatever is God is leading us is so that we fulfill the obligation of living and live it to the full. Please like, subscribe, or comment below.